is one of those days. It's just, this is a Monday. Today's like so Monday. Okay. So, before we get started, I've got something for each of you. This is, pass this down. Just to keep you occupied while everybody else is doing something. This tells you, this is so you can help determine who wins the Pirate Booty on Wednesday. Oh, actually, there's no class on Wednesday. So, go through here. It's 1 through 5. Put the project name, whatever their proposal name is, on the right, and then across the top, think about the organization of the presentation. What kind of research they use to go with it. Is it conveying what they want it to convey? Creativity, and how feasible is this, right? Of course, this is like a hypothetical park, so you can be wild with it, but you are asking for money. So, would you think of the feasibility as would I actually fund this? And then after everything is done, you can go through and rank order them. Okay. All right. So my thing way, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to go zigzaggy across, because otherwise that side is always like. Yes, you're still first. And if you need, does anybody need the board, or should I just turn this off?
Is there any magnets, do you know?
There are no magnets, but I think on this you can slip it up under. No, I don't have any thingies.
I'll just kind of hold it.
Yep, you can hold it, or you can have one of your classmates be a Vanna.
Want me to hold it for you?
All right, let me get the.
Just go leave it.
Turn that off. And over here, and get my timer started. All right, 5 minutes, right? Oh, this I need to. I'll let you get started and then. Wait, let me set. Really? All right, ready? Go.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Brendan Morris. I'm a senior business major with a history minor. So for this project, I kind of looked at both how to make a park that'd be both profitable as well as fun. I kind of made a mission statement for it, and our number one rule at our park is to have fun, come enjoy yourself, and kind of leave all the outside problems alone. So my park's actually for 18 and above year olds. Our target market's mainly 21-year-olds, so just kind of separating ourselves from Disney World. There's going to be drinking. Unlike Walt Disney wanted, we kind of encourage drinking here. So the first thing I decided was where I wanted to put the park, which was Tampa Bay, Florida. Exactly, knowing Ian and Professor spent some time living down there and grew up there, they can tell you that the pirate culture is really big there. And I mentioned Gasparilla Weekend in my paper because I know that would definitely help our park's revenue and whatnot. So basically, I broke up my park into 6 different stations. There's a top level and a bottom level. So I'll just kind of walk you down here. These are my drawings. Not the best drawer, if you can't really tell. So here's the entrance, and the first part you walk into is more of a carnival setting. It's kind of all relaxed. It's kind of where everyone's going to get settled. You'll be handed pirate costumes and get-ups and an eye patch, which through my research I realized that pirates actually didn't use eye patches. It's a fun little part there. But yeah, that's kind of just, here I made a little basketball game, shooting, a bow and arrow for darts and whatnot, and some circle toss onto the bottles, and here there will be a lot of prizes given out, so it's a good opportunity to win some stuff. Moving forward, this is for the 21-year-olds and above. There's drinking games here. One cool thing that we decided to do is that you can wager on your drinking games, and the loser has to walk the plank, which is the title of my part. By the way, I forgot to mention that. And if you lose, you have to jump off a 20-foot diving board. Moving forward, we have water slides. Someone might be like, drinking water slides don't seem like a good idea. Wrong. It's an awesome idea. We have over 40 lifeguards on duty to make sure that everyone's safe, so we have everything taken care of in terms of that, and if someone's too intoxicated, they won't be allowed. Here's the dining area. I built a pirate ship here. Here's my attempt at building a pirate ship. This is kind of, I talked about how we were going to have food that originates with pirate culture, which I researched, which was a lot of eggs and dry meat. It's going to be cheap food, but you're going to get a lot of quantity out of it. And then here's the downstairs level. This is kind of where all the fun is. I tried to build like a little nightclub, and it's decorated in all pirate gear. Again, you can't really tell that with the drawing, but it's all decked out. It's a pirate theme going on. All the bartenders, servers are dressed as pirates, so it's kind of even more so a pirate environment. And here you see a band in a bar where we're serving rum, and as we know, rum was their alcoholic choice of beverage, of course. And then one thing I added that I thought would really help our companies become profitable is adding casino. Gambling legalization is becoming more prominent today, and I figured Florida's coming up as one of the next states to legalize it completely. So this would be really well, and the thing I related it to the pirates is rather than in Vegas where you have like poker chips and whatnot, we're going to use gold, kind of like gold and silver is going to be our currency, so that way you can kind of wager that. So in conclusion, yeah, the biggest, like I said, the biggest rule is that it's for adults to get away from their everyday life and kind of get in touch with their childhood creativity again and kind of just pretend that you're a pirate and have fun with it. So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you guys.
Want to hear one's the best? One's the best.
One's top, and yes. No, five is the best, and one.
I mean, you put 1 through 15.
He's talking about ranking.
Oh, in the ranking?
Yeah, you put 1 through 15.
Yeah, in that term, yes.
One is the best.
Yeah.
One is the best?
One is the best, but you can't figure that out with just the first.
No. This is the rank.
So you can't do total ranking until everybody's gone. So that very last column should be empty until the very end.
So you use numbers in the rest of the boxes too?
Yes.
Okay,
One to
cool.
five.
I just
You
wanted
can write in those boxes too if you need information for you. This is all for you, and then I'll add up the points at the end. So, okay. All right. Sean, you're next, and I'll go to Robbie.
Usually in the deep side after that.
Like 1 out of 5.
Okay. Before you start, does everybody get the numbering thing?
Yeah.
Okay. These boxes, you can write in the, because I was writing little things in there, so you can write in that, if you need something to remember stuff by, that kind of stuff. And then you can put your numbers in that, and then we won't add it up until the very end. So that last column, there shouldn't be anything in that until the very end. You really can't rank order until you've seen it, right? Okay. I am ready. And go.
No, it's alright. Alright. Hello, esteemed members of the Pirate Committee. I am Peter Anderson, and I am representing the project to build Libertalia, our pirate theme park. So, similar to the previous speaker, we have targeted our theme park towards 21-year-olds and higher, because there will be, we want to stay true, more realistic to historical accuracy in terms of piracy in the Caribbean. So there will be slightly more like adult themes, nothing too serious. So let's start with the admissions down here. To get in, you have to produce ID, of course, and showing that you're 21 or above. And then once you pay, once you prove an ID, then you get a letter of marque, symbolizing how well, actually that was more for privateers, but it still works. So then you get access to enter the park. So here there's a couple of bathrooms around So I'll start with the first ride, which is called Where's Me Rum? That's not quite, it's one of the lesser historically accurate parts. It's more of a fun one. It's like a roller coaster. So you have two separate cars. They're both supposed to be pirate ships. One is supposed to be full of pirates that stole the rum of the other pirate ship, and so it's kind of like a little chase. Again, not really supposed to be realistic, but it's just a little fun one. I like that one. Then over here on the other side, we have Morgan's Pirate Raid VR. So this will be an interesting one. It's not really so much of a ride, but it's a VR experience. So you put on the goggles, and you'll see various scenes that are supposed to represent Henry Morgan's pirate career. So he and his ship will be firing upon a port city. You'll hear the banter among the pirates, stuff like that. And of course, all right. And then so we have little arcade games over here. Well, not arcade games, like the stalls. Here we have Batten the Hatches, which is a water ride. It's supposed to show how like pirates had to deal with storms and stuff like that. Over here we have X Marks the Spot, again, which is not quite realistic to piracy. It's one of the stereotypes. But I did include an aspect where there will be a town resident in there. It's like a puzzle game. And you can choose to torture, well, not really torture obviously, but like torture the resident for information on where the treasure is, which I think is funny. I mean, not the torture part, but and up here we have the Gunsway heist, which is based on Henry Avery's famous attack on the Mughal ship, the Ganji Sawai, which loosely translated is Gunsway. And here in the center we have the city of Tortuga, which is it's a reference to the island of Tortuga, obviously. So it's full of restaurants with food and drink and stuff like that. The specialty drink is rum. Actually, we'll have some rum in there, and then we'll also have some Caribbean specialties like cassava and stuff like that. Over here we have like a park and picnic area if you brought your own food. And inside Tortuga we have the Black Dog, which is actually the name of a tavern on Port Royal. And so the difference between this one, it's still a tavern, but it's a lot bigger, and it actually has a casino in there, which again, pirates didn't have casinos, but they gambled, they had betting games, so it'll be similar in that sense. So like I said, we tried to keep our park more realistic in terms of how pirates actually acted, how they behaved, stuff like that, and then we talked about a couple of famous pirates back in that period. So yeah, I mean, we tried to incorporate fun with not really an educational experience, but an experience would have come away knowing more about piracy than you did when you went in. Thank you.
Alright, so I'm James, obviously. I'm a business major, and for my pirate park I did Captain Blackhooks, so I'll just start by explaining the name. It's a mix between Blackbeard and Pirate Hook, because Blackbeard was a pretty historically prominent figure, and Captain Hook was obviously like a child's fairy tales from Peter Pan. So my park is going to have both like educational options and also rides for the kids to go on, so that the parents are also entertained while they're there. So you come in here through the entrance, and then you go to the gift shop, which is actually where you buy your tickets. But there you can also buy, while you're buying your tickets, also like eye patches, peg legs, hooks, fake parrots, anything like stereotypically pirate. And that's more of like the Captain Hook side of it, like just the Hollywood portrayal of them. But then here you get on Captain Jack Sparrow's ferry to the park, which is a ride to the other side of the river. I'm sorry, this is going to be on the Kissimmee River in Florida. So on this ship, people have the option to either go on Captain Blackbeard's famous tour, which is just like a tour of the pirate ship, how it would have been, the captain's quarters, the crew's quarters, the foxhole, all that. And what we're gonna have around the park is they're gonna be called Captain Blackbeard's Fun Facts, just so when kids are dragging their parents through all this stuff, they have the opportunity to actually learn something. So there's gonna be signs bringing them around these rooms and telling them about all of them. And there's also, for the younger children, like the more Captain Hook option to just paint a Jolly Roger. So then once you're over here, this is the Tortuga Cafe, where everyone who walks in is given a free piece of boucan, and there's a Captain Blackbeard's fun fact there stating that this is how, you know, pirates kind of started out making beef jerky and selling it to people passing by Tortuga. And everyone also gets a free little bit of rum. Fun fact there that was their drink of choice because water wouldn't keep, and that was the only thing they could produce in the Caribbean. From there you can go to Captain Hook's Plank Walk, which is just some diving boards off the side of a fake ship here, also with like a water slide. It's supposed to be like a fallen mast. There again, obviously Captain Hook isn't a real person, but there's also going to be a Captain Black Hook's little fun fact there that pirates didn't actually walk the plank, as I'm sure we all know. And then over here we have the swashbuckling station, which is going to be like a virtual reality, like sword fighting, set up kind of like, I'm sure a lot of you know, Nazi zombies and Call of Duty, just like how long you can last. And then the winner of that will get the balloon. They can get 50% off their next visit at the gift shop. And then here we have Captain Blackbeard's Open Ocean Cruise. So here we're gonna tell people the history. You're gonna watch a brief video of the history of the pirates. And there's gonna be a Spanish ship sailing around the river. The guests will get in either a Dutch or English ship and try and catch the Spanish ship, just because that's kind of how pirating originated. And whoever's able to catch the staff member in this Spanish ship will be able to get 50% off their next visit, and get some free rum and boucan. What else do we got here? Oh, I forgot to mention that on the ship here, we're going to, I did mention it. Yeah, I'm good.
So those of you who've already gone, are the times things okay? Is that helping the time?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you ready?
Members of the board, I'm Caleb Conlon, and I'm here to represent Piratland. So, one thing that's always fascinated me, and I'm pretty sure everyone else here, has been pirates. And it probably fascinates pretty much every little kid, too. So, Piratland is designed to incorporate adults and children together. From the entrance, where you present a letter of marque as a ticket and then get your hand stamped with the insignia of the royal family, all the way to the Mutineers' Paradise, which is a water park styled attraction designed in a ship-like fashion, where you can climb, swim, and slide. So, the Buccaneers Escape is a virtual reality attraction where you put on the goggles and you are engaged in a flight from the Spanish Armada after a failed attack. And the success of your escape depends on the other members of your craft, whether you know them or not. So everyone has to target specific things inside the virtual reality to get the escape to work. The faster you do so, the faster you escape. The slower you do so, the faster your enemy sneaks up behind you. So you can either be captured or you can escape. Either way, it's kind of entertaining. A Stormy Night is a water ride mixed with a roller coaster, and it provides a nice cool off in hot sun. Going to Mutineer's Paradise, straight to the galley. That's where you can cool off while drying off, get something nice to eat, and experience some fun facts through kiosks set up around the entire place to order food, take quizzes, test your knowledge. Shops. You shop. These shops actually will have more antique style gifts, whereas the main gift shop will have more modern day gifts like plush toys. And then we come to Henry Morgan's Ride-us Raiders, which is a fast-paced, whirly-twirly ride, basically designed to get everyone mixed up and confused. In the center here, we have Treasure Island, a hunting game for little kids where they divide into two groups and look for gold coins buried in the sand. The team that wins gets a plush toy, and the team that loses gets a little flag. And then the last ride we have is the Privateer's Raid. It goes around this island, this harbor right here, and they can target passersby in the splash zone and just soak them. The most important part of Pirate Land is the atmosphere. Throughout Pirate Land, there will be actors, completely encased in the period. They'll be head-to-toe period costume, and some of them will even take on personas of actual pirates, such as Henry Morgan, Henry Avery, and Blackbeard. And they provide helpful facts and disprove myths that are commonplace, such as walking the plank, or, as previous presenter has pointed out, eye patches. So, Pirate Land provides a little bit of everything for everyone, and yeah, that's about it.
I'm gonna spend some money.
Ready?
I am ready.
Yep.
Alright guys, hello. I'm John Balling, and I'm here to show you the theme park, Pirates Park. Upon arrival, the entrance will have a huge arch giving you the name and having skull and bones all over it, just because from previous movies, from knowledge, pirates tended to, and sailors tend to go on these journeys and die, and you might come across skull and bones, and we just want to get that first intimidation factor on just getting that little incitement. The park is meant for all ages, not just young kids, but adults as well. It's going to be fun, but also educational. Once you first walk into the park, there'll be Alligator Pond. The alligator comes from a movie I'm sure most of you have seen, if not all of you, Peter Pan. So there'll be a real alligator named TikTok. The reason behind that is to give that initial excitement, being like this park means business. Give people that scare, kids love animals. I mean, maybe not, you can't pet this, but you can at least come and see. There's a little bridge you can walk over that's elevated, you can see it. And also, upon arrival, your first station that you can choose to go to is walking the plank. There'll be a sign that, tells people that pirates didn't walk the plank. It's just more of a movie-based thing. Movies love to emphasize the fact that pirates did walk the plank, but as we learned in class, that it wasn't a real thing. And as you come into the park, there will be pirates dressed up. There will be Captain Hook, Jack Sparrow, Captain Barbossa, and Blackbeard. You have the option of renting pirates, like a pirate uniform or outfit, and taking pictures with them. And as you walk around the park, there'll be little historical facts telling you little information about just historical facts about pirates and little bits and pieces. And as you keep going, there will be a treasure hunt. Just from watching movies, Pirates of the Caribbean, Peter Pan, we always get that emphasis that pirates are always on the search for gold or how to make money. And as you keep going, there will be a pirate ship tour. In the ship, there will be a captain's quarter, a crew quarter. There will be cannons that will show the weapons that they use, and you'll be able to go through each room and kind of see the difference between how a captain lived and how the crew lived. Tight quarters to high and fancy. And as you keep going, there will be a pirates arcade. You'll have the option of doing a virtual reality sword fighting, see how long you last against your enemies. But also there'll be a ship navigation game in there as well. You have the option of navigating your own ship without a map or compass. And as we know, pirates didn't have the most reliable maps or compasses. They relied on the stars and past stories on where to go. So it's the whole point of the game is just kind of see how far you can navigate without dying or your crew members dying. And there will be Captain's Hook Cafe that will serve our homemade hardtack, which is something that pirates usually had to live off of being on the water for so long. And unfortunately, there won't be any water for children, but there will be rum available for adults, just because water used to get slimy being stuck in storage for so long on the ship, and rum is their preferable drink. And as you can see, there's a lazy river that goes around the park. This is just to incorporate, just like rowing. When you get to land, you would have to row around and kind of find where your initial landing point is. You'll go through caves, see other treasure, dead bodies, and just give people that excitement. You also get a little wet. As you can see, it goes around, wraps around the park and comes around. And it's just kind of that excitement factor that kids like to enjoy. But it's also a very historical park, and I hope people will be able to learn from the facts and excitement off of it. And that's all I have.
All right, Amanda.
Okay, I'm Amanda, and I'm here to present Pirates Place. So to begin with, you pull into the parking lot, and then you go onto the docks, which will bring you around to the front side of the park, where you enter through the gift shop. Now, the park itself is divided sort of into quadrants, so this part is like dry parts, and then the top part is a water park, but the closer to the entrance you are, the more kid-friendly, and the farther you go, the more adults will enjoy it. So first you have the juice bar, where kids can go to get juice and hydrate to make sure that they have fun. There are also checkpoints all throughout the park, where you can scan QR codes on your phone, and it'll help you learn different facts about pirates. And if you kids could just scan it and get points, but if you actually read it, there's questions that'll get you extra points, and then at the end of the day, you can cash them in for different prizes. So the first actual attraction is a meet and greet with a bunch of different pirates, all accurate, and that's one of the main places where you can get the most parrot points, which is where you scan all of the QR codes. And then from there, you can go to a family-friendly restaurant. They don't serve any Caribbean foods because kids are very picky eaters, so we're keeping it simple. From there, we go to a roller coaster. And in line, that's another place where you can scan and learn more facts about pirates. This first part is going to be called Tortuga. That's going to be more for the kids. And then on the other side, it's going to be called Port Royal, which is more for the adults. There you have a bunch of different shops selling things that were things that were sold in the Caribbean. So you have a chocolate and coffee shop, you have a jerky and indigo cart, you have a smoke shop, and then you also have a bar and restaurant for the adults. On the water park side, you have a lazy river that goes through and gives you a general idea of the geography and like the climate of the Caribbean. From there you go into a really big pool. It is a fade-in, so it goes from 0 feet to 8 feet. In the middle, there's a waterfall that people can climb up and jump off of. And then on the other side, there's a bar that you can swim up to for the adults. There's also a kiddie pool for younger children, so they don't have to go on the big one. On the far side, we have all the water slides. They also have interactive lines, that way it's not so bad when you're waiting. In the very center, there is a giant fountain with a really big pirate ship in it. And on the pirate ship, actors will perform different scenes and things that pirates could have done. They're definitely not all the way accurate, just to make sure that it's interesting and upbeat for everybody. But at the bottom, that's another point where you can scan and learn more. At the very end, you have a log ride. Now this ride has another interactive line, but as you go through, you can learn the general location of where all the islands are in the Caribbean without actually having to go. So all throughout the park, there are also actors, and you can interact with them and talk with the pirates, and it's really fun. For the adults, they don't necessarily want to walk all the way back over here to sail back to the parking lot, so there's another little bridge so that they can just walk across. If people don't want to take the ships, which is definitely recommended, you can walk around. Oh, I forgot to say this. As you enter on the pirate ships, you like travel back in time, so it's really fun. But also, as you leave, you like travel back to the present. Yeah, that's it.
Guys are all right on point, about 4 minutes, 30 seconds, almost all of them. No, yours was right in there too.
Everybody see this?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when people think of pirates, they think of sailing around the ocean, raping, pillaging, collecting all sorts of wealth, and all in all, just making friendships along the way. And I propose I want to be able to bring that to everyday people. So what I have is I have an exact replica of the Queen Anne's Revenge, which is actually Captain Blackbeard's ship that ended up sinking over by Moorhead, North Carolina. And we start in Spain, and we sail for 2 weeks from Spain all the way to the British Virgin Islands. And on the way there, the captain of the ship, who will be dressed like Blackbeard, and his 4 deckhands will teach everyone on the ship how to sail, how to tie knots, and how to fight with cutlasses. They're not going to be sharp, so no one will get hurt. We're going to need a lawsuit. And especially how to fire cannons. So we'll be shooting blanks out. And once we get to the British Virgin Islands, once we get there, everybody can exit the ship, go out, spend the day exploring, visit some nightclubs, have some fun. But the thing is, the ship leaves at 6:30 in the morning. So if you miss that, you have to find your own way home. But on the way from Spain to the Virgin Islands, we have a cook on board who will cook some of the main things that the pirates would eat back then, like salted pork, salted beef. They had biscuits that were pretty bland, and also the customers can bring non-perishable goods for themselves as snacks, as long as they clean up after themselves. Our target audience is 18 and up. There will be alcohol on board, and once you hit we're in international waters, so you can drink at 18. And let's see. one of the main things that I always think about when I think about pirates is just adventure. And one of the cool things about this is you get to spend 2 weeks at open sea, travel over 4,000 miles from Spain to the Virgin Islands. And once you get to the Virgin Islands, after that one day of being there, travel all the way down the key of the islands, and you end at the port of Spain. And just going along, figuring out, taking pictures of scenery, getting to go dive with sharks and snorkel and all that stuff. And it actually, the cost would come out to about $500 per person. So, and there will be a crew of 35 people, including the captain and his 4 deckhands. So a total of 30 everyday people get the opportunity to have this experience. And at $500 each, that's, can't do math, $15,000, which would cover, which will cover expenses for food and water. We will keep water on board because I feel like most people would probably dehydrate super quickly if they're just drinking nothing but alcohol. So, and yes, luckily pirates back then didn't bathe all that often. There wasn't really any notion of them bathing. They jump in the water to cool off, but nothing really. So luckily the Queen Anne's Revenge is renovated on the inside. Have 2 bathrooms, one on the port and starboard, the front and the back of the ship, equipped with yes, equipped with showers and toilets. But the thing is, since we have a limited water tank supply, you only get to shower once every 2 days. You get a 2-minute shower. So, but at the captain's discretion, if you do smell very bad, the captain will order you to go take a shower. So, and you learn how to fish like the pirates did, just fishing off the boat, and especially learning how to set sails, like learning how to tie down knots and lift the sails back up. And once or twice during the first 2 weeks at sea, the captain will actually ring the emergency bell, which means everybody has to man their battle stations, and the captain will decide which side to fire the cannons on. Like, oh, we have enemies on this side. Oh, we're gonna shoot that side. Both sides. And so it just gives an everyday person the experience that a pirate would have without being a criminal, so to speak. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Bad drawing. Sorry, I can't draw. So I'm doing a thing called Buckingham Beach, and it's a theme park for all ages. Basically, it's made so that it goes a bit back more towards old arcades. So there's not going to be any like massive screens showing movies or anything like that they show these days. I'm going more for like using more physical effects that you don't really get these days all that much. Seeing as technology is so like. It's just everywhere. Like you would have VR on your phone wherever you want it. So I decided to go for a more old-fashioned way. So first off, the town in the center. It's similar to Disney's New Orleans. It's based off Tortuga, and it has a bar, it has restaurants, you can get drunk, and the kids can get drinks, not alcoholic, of course. And so then the first ride is a zip line. The zip line goes all the way down to the beach and it stops in little caves. In the caves, there's animatronic scenes of all these different pirate captains. So you start with Peter Hine, you move on to Blackbeard, Henry Morgan, Captain Kidd, and Chang Yi-sun. Each scene is supposed to give you a quick summary of what they did, and like you get like we're gonna look at it for a few minutes, but that scene's supposed to be, for example, Peter Hine of taking a Spanish armada, planning that out, but then also like taking down the Spanish fleet and raising the Dutch flag and being able to ride the Spanish fleet back. Then you go on and you have we have Blackbeard's ship. Blackbeard's ship, you take the zip line straight into it, and there's a scene of him with all the fire coming off his beard and fog and trying to be mysterious, and then you see all these different nations like cowering because they're scared of him, even though he's just like showing that he had made a legacy of just being scary. Then below in Blackbeard's ship, it's actually a crashed Queen Anne's Revenge on the shore. So inside there's a laser tag. The laser tag has been modified so it's all pirate themed, and you're running around inside the ship with different, like, some parts look like a port, some parts look like that, and your gun looks like a pirate's gun, because you can make all this technology so much smaller and so much more efficient than people do these days. So you run around and you can shoot people, and the kids can love it, and go on. Going on, in the town there's actually a place where they're drying the meat, because that's where the pirates are, at least in Tortuga, pirates originated from, and where the Buccaneer originated from. Because the grills they used in the meat, drying out the meat, and then you can try it if you want, and you can see the whole process and see how they advanced from that all the way to piracy. Also, there's a restaurant. The restaurant serves some of the foods pirates had, but of course that's not going to be that good, so they also sort of serve normal park food, hot dogs, burgers, fries, all the basics. And there's also a sword fighting arena where you have foam swords and kids can run around, beat each other up with foam swords, not really get hurt, and get their energy up. You go down, there's a port. The port people can swim at, there's a beach, you can do whatever you want. It's basically just for relaxation, picnics, whatever people want. Going on, there's also, brain's not working, in the town there's also, the zip line goes to the top of the town where you can see the whole thing. The town's based off Tortuga. Yeah, because Tortuga was where a lot of modern day pirates, like they show that city, a lot of video games show that, a lot of things. So a lot of people might actually be familiar with it already and what they think it should look like. And being able to enter that world would be a different, like it's just a new thing that no one's really been able to do. You also, for the zip line, all the people, every single scene, so there's 5 different scenes, and all the scenes will be fully animatronic with people massive, life-sized. So when you get in, you can actually interact with the animatronic, not like touch it, but you can see what's happening, and it's talking, it's raising, like, Pia. I haven't done that. Oh. Sorry. And then you have Captain Kidd transforming from English to pirates, and then going to paper pirates. You can see these big events that these pirates then shaped and then made their own legacy, and then eventually some of them died, and then going on to Chang Sao. I don't actually know how to pronounce her name. Who was probably the most successful pirate, and how she, like, showing her at the age of like 60, controlling a pirate fleet basically, and being able to dominate dominate and have her own island basically. Good. Okay.
Oh, the name of mine is the Queen Anne's Revenge Caribbean Voyage.
You said that.
I did?
Yeah.
Wow, that's.
All right, JP.
All right.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay.
How's it going, everyone? I'm JP LaBarge. I'm a freshman at St. Mike's and a business major. This is my poster here. And I'll be presenting the idea of Navassa, which is actually an uninhabited island west of Haiti. Haiti's most western point. It kind of goes out to a peninsula, and Navassa is this 3-mile wide island by 1 mile in length. It's got an elevation of 250 feet, and I'll get right into it. That's where the main roller coaster actually goes up to that elevation and drops right down. But I'm kind of jumping ahead there. To get to the island, you can take one of 3 ships. The ship catered towards younger kids is called the Sea Urchin. And on the Sea Urchin, you can pretty much jump in a ball pit, a lot of face painting, little kid type of stuff for parents that only have little kids. The next boat is pretty much families that have young kids, maybe some teenagers, maybe even the 20-year-old. It's kind of everybody. And that ship's cool because you can do more interactive stuff, such as learning how to tie specific sailors knots, such as the bowling and like the half hitch and some other cool ones. And it has 3 crow's nests, and on these crow's nests, right, I think it's the mast. It's where the like the things that go up and the sails come off of it. The one in the back is the shortest, but that's the one that you learn how to climb. You go over all the safety precautions and stuff. The one in the middle is the tallest, and that's the main attraction. Everybody wants to check that out. And then the one in the front is kind of just like you're in the front, you get to like have that wind blowing on you and stuff. It's nice. And it was getting to the park there. Actually, no, I haven't talked about the last boat. It's adult catered. It's pretty much a booze cruise. It's what it is. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. And then getting to the island. One of the coolest things that I'll mention is there's spearfishing charters. So you can go spearfishing and you can take it to one of the pirate themed restaurants on the island, and they'll actually cook up here whatever you caught that day. And there's one of the cooler rides is it's kind of similar to a log flume, but it's actually it's a rescue ship, not a rescue ship, but a rowboat flume. And you go up and you go all the way down, and then you splash into the Caribbean water, and it's fun. And yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Forgot to mention the adult boat is called the Rum Runner. So on the main roller coaster, it goes up. It's called the Red Skies at Night, Sailors Delight. Red skies in the morning, sailors take warning. Pretty much it's a rough seas themed ride. So you go up, and as you're going up this like tunnel, you can see the light at the top, and there's a bunch of pirates in the tunnel like, yelling at you and like, calling you names and like just being awful to you. And once you get to the top, you drop down, plummeting 250 feet, and you go up like you're going on these huge swells and like huge berms. And it's just super fun. You can like let your hands up, and then people take pictures of you. It's awesome. And bunch of good food, a lot of cassava, and yeah, it's pretty much it.
South on lettuce. And right here you got Captain Wet Willie's theme park. It's kind of goes off of the Goonies, Captain One-Eyed Willie. I really like that movie, so I picked that name. And so you come to the beginning, and it says "Enter if you dare," like it's kind of like pirate slang. And then you can go to like the roller coaster right there, and it kind of looks like crow's nest that you're in. So you just like go up and down, up and down. It's really fun. And like after that, you can go to the Ferris wheel that's shaped like the pirate wheel. And also has crow's nest attached to it. And like all along the paths to all the rides and games, like there's like signs that teaches you like all the information about pirates. Oh, also I forgot to mention, like this is for like all ages. Like it's more catered toward like kids, so they can learn like the truth about pirates and not that fake stuff that's in the Disney movies. And so like yeah, and then like over here you have like a reenactment of like a battle like on land, but on land between like soldiers and pirates. And you kind of got the little captain's hat like Henry Morgan would wear. You got like a little ball game right here where there's like 3 rum bottles stacked up, and then you have 2 plastic balls that are like cannonballs. You try to knock them all down. There's also a gift shop where you can buy souvenirs like foam swords, hats, little like baggy pants that they used to wear, and like the little caps too. And then after the gift shop, there's a merry-go-round that has like whales, sharks, and dolphins that the kids can ride on. And then right here, the stores. That's the name of the place where you can go to eat. And there's like seafood. Those are more for like the older people. And then there's like cheeseburgers and french fries and chicken fingers and grilled cheese and all that. And there's also, there's also like big barrels in there. And there's like some with rum in it for the adults. And then others have soda and water for the kids. And then after that, you can go to the like ride that's like in every amusement park you've ever been to, like the teacup ride, but instead it's a crow's nest. Yeah, you got like a log flume type thing right here too. And then after that, you go into the water park where there's just like, there's a wave pool right here, and kids can go in and have fun, get splashed by some waves. And then you got a lazy river that goes all around the water park, and there's exits where you can go to like different water slides, and like the different like sizes mean like heights. So like the smaller ones are for kids, and like the top and for the kids rides you have to be 53 inches to ride, and then for like the bigger rides, the bigger slides, you gotta be 60 inches to ride. No, 64 inches to ride it. Because you don't want no kids going.
I don't know that I make that.
5'4" is a reasonable value. And then this is like the best water slide we got. You have to wait in line, get all the way to the top, about 60 feet. And then there's like little tubes that you go in, and then the platform drops and just drops straight down. It's so much fun. So I think everybody would like that. And then after all the slides, there's like a little pool of water you just empty out into instead of landing on the ground. And yeah, that's Captain Wet Willie's theme park.
Somebody brought the Goonies in. Yay!
I love that movie. I've seen it 20 times.
Or is that
Really?
mostly?
No,
Yeah.
So I have two drawings, but this is the first one. This is also Pirate Land. Welcome. Like, Pirate Land is for families, but there are like adult sections and kid sections. Here you will experience fun, but you'll also learn along the way. So first, you're gonna pull into the parking lot right here, and like you'll already notice the pirate theme because the street lights are crow's nests. You'll once you park, you kind of walk over to this area, and this boat trolley picks you up. And they'll give you a map of the place. It's like a pirate style map, like stereotypical. A guy dressed up as Blackbeard will drive you over and tell you some interesting facts. You'll first pull up into like the villages that it is called. And it's more of like a traditional Caribbean style place at first. You'll come into it's styled as like bikinis, and yeah, you can watch canoes being made out of the sand technique. You burn out the holes, and the people there will be dressed up as native Caribbeans. And you're gonna smoke authentic tobacco from their tobacco houses, and you can like, experience the spiritual traditions that they do. Next, there's the main ride section. So this ride's pretty big. There's three main ones. This one's called The World Turned Upside Down. There's another one called Port Royal, and it goes like underwater. Like, you'll be surrounded by glass tanks underground. You'll kind of see the underwater city of Port Royal. And there's just your classic like food drop, get wet. It's like a fun family ride. Next, the food court. So there's a brewery. That's called the Large Bowl of Punch. And then there's a kids section called the Jolly Roger. It's kind of a place kids can go get their candy and screw around while their parents are at the bar. The rum will be served straight out of the barrel, just how the pirates did it. At the food court, you can eat jerky and watch them cook it on like the wooden grates that they used to. There's also barbecue. Yeah, alright, cool. Next, arcade. You can choose your outlaw and kind of go on raids and raid other boats with them. we choose people like William Kidd, Henry Avery, like Anne Bonny, and Mary Read. You can simulate battles and raids, and there's a virtual reality shooting range, so you kind of experience shooting the old guns that they had, but not actually shoot them. And another, separate from the arcade, there's an activity center where you can go. There's like live theaters, like live plays going on. You can watch like Pirates of the Caribbean live. There's also a movie section. Pirates aren't really your thing. You just go watch the movie section. Also in the activity center, there's a planetarium, so like you can watch, see how they follow the stars for their navigation, which is pretty interesting. There's also an aquarium there that will show you like the native fish, and there's also a remora fishing demonstration. They like catch fish using the remora. Yeah, there's also like part of the activity center, like kids can go design their own flags and like build mini ships out of popsicle sticks or whatever. Next, there's the water park. This kind of main attraction of the water park, this big boat into this big pool, very deep, and the diving boards are walking the plank. It's pretty high up. It's brilliant. There's also this area, the two boats pointing at each other, and the cannons shoot water. You can kind of shoot water at each other. Your friends can go in and screw around. And similar to that, but this is more for kids, like mini slides on broken boats. And there's two big bunkers, and that's called Cape Coast Castle, this section. And also there are more water cannons, you just blast on each other, have a good time. And on your way out, you'll hit the gift shop, and there you pick up you can get mini semi-statues, you can buy tobacco, over 18 this place, costumes, and stuffed animals and everything. And that's Pirate Land.
Okay, go ahead, Kate.
So I'm Kayla McLaughlin. I'm an Imagineer at Disney, and this is my proposal for Incoming Voyage. It's going to be this giant pirate ship, and it'll be located off the coast of New York, because you don't really hear much about pirates up that way to the extent that you do in Florida, so it might bring a lot more people who aren't used to it. And it's going to like expose the myths behind the pirates by focusing on the realities of their lives and what they did. And there's not really going to be any alcohol because it's for families, and there'll be a lot of kids running around. So it basically starts at the end of a dock where you walk along it, and there'll be a couple of pirates at grilling stations along both sides. And at each station it'll say buy some meat and fulfill another pirate's dream of getting their own ship and stuff. And then when you walk up on deck, well, there'll be a pirate crew of multiple nationalities and even some women, and they'll be running around just hanging the sails and stuff. And then you'll get to talk with them and learn about like why they got into piracy. And after that, the captain will take you down to his cabin, where the kids will get to pick out a pirate flag that they'll hang up towards the end. And they'll get to look through some letters and mark on the captain's desk for fun. And then they go down to like the galley, where they get to try some of the different pirate foods, like hardtack and lemons and salmon and the like. And they'll even get a few lemons to take with them. And on the way to the dining room, they'll encounter the doctor, who will make sure that they have lemons so that they won't catch scurvy, which is like the dread disease of pirates. And then they'll go in the dining room, where they'll see the crew around the table, and they'll be like debating whether or not to stop over in Tortuga, and everybody's voice will be heard because That's how they did it back then. They were very democratic about it. And then they'll elect a new quartermaster to make sure that all the crew's needs are met. And they'll go down some stairs, and in the cargo hold, well, there'll be a bunch of pirates going through like Spanish bars and pesos and gold work stuff, and they'll be dividing it equally. And each person will get a peso to take with them as a souvenir. And then you go back the same way where, like it's been said before, they'll be hoisting up the pirate flag, and then you'll basically have to sign an agreement with the pirates saying you won't reveal what you saw to anybody. Just keep it a secret forever. And then you go back out the way you came. With if you want to stop at the grills for one last time, just to buy something to eat on the way out, then you can. And a couple of days later, you'll get a survey asking you, like, how did you like it? What can we do to improve? And tell you all your friends and that kind of thing. And there will be no walking off the flag and stuff because that never really happened. And yeah.
Excellent. All right.
I like judging these.
You guys having fun with this?
Yeah.
Yeah? Some really fun parks.
Oh boy.
Okay, we got two more, right? All right, go ahead.
All right, I'm Kevin, and I did the Pirate Adventure Park. Now, as you take your first steps into the park, you'll see a broken down pirate ship with lines of people coming in, and there'll be pirates greeting you at the front doors, and they'll all have papers. And this is the pirate code. This is how you get into the park. You basically have to sign it, and it has all the park rules and the guidelines and everything to make sure that you have a fun and safe time. And so after you sign that and obviously pay the fee to get in, you'll get a pirate medallion to wear around your neck. And this has a sensor in it so that you can swipe into all the rides and the hotel so that you can have a nice stay. And so there are 4 routes you can take from the entrance. The first one on the left here goes to the hotel and a restaurant. This is a 4-star hotel. And the lobby as you walk in has a big aquarium full of all the fish from the Caribbean. And guests can request a special pirate-themed room so that they can get a full experience. And every room comes with a hammock that the Arawak natives used to sleep in, just as a little something luxurious to throw in there as well. And so if you take the next path here, you'll go to the water park. And the water park is actually, the floor is covered in sand, and there are 3 rides in the water park. The first one is, we call it the plank. It's basically our massive pool with different heights of diving boards that you can jump off. It goes from 10 feet all the way up to 50 for those daredevils. And then the water play park is basically like a playground, but full of different aquatic features like little water guns that you can spray your friends with, and it's just a nice little fun playground. And then the main attraction in the water park is called the Huracan, and there are 4 people interact, and it's at a lot of water parks. It's the one where you go down and you go like up, and then you go through like this funnel thing. And then down a slide and into a pool. So that's one of the most popular water attractions. And then as we move into the actual park, we find ourselves at a roller coaster called the Lusca. And I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but it's a mythological creature in the Caribbean that takes the look of a really large octopus. So that's our one and only roller coaster, and it goes up to 70 miles per hour, quite fast. And then the next attraction we have is the Bermuda Triangle, and this is a tall tower with seating all around it that goes all the way up to the top, and then it drops you all the way down so that you kind of get a butterfly feeling in your stomach. And in between the water park and the actual adventure park is a little cafeteria with a big straw hut, kind of like the Arawak Native villages, and that's where people, guests of the park can eat, and there's an outdoor section as well. One of the last rides is called the Jolly Roger. This is for younger kids. It's basically a big pirate ship that sways back and forth, kind of like the Bermuda Triangle with that butterfly feeling, but a little less scary. And then the last ride is called the Voyage of Death. And this is our scary ride. Basically, you go through a fog river, and it's kind of like the Disneyland Pirates of the Caribbean. And it's just meant to give a little terror. And so I have not mentioned this, but I decided to go with a stereotypical Hollywood idea of pirates in the park. But the last section over here actually has a theater where experts on the time period can give presentations to anyone who wants to watch them. And there's a little museum attached on the side with artifacts from pirate culture and Arawak culture. And obviously, you guys love a good shot. So that's the Pirate Adventure Park.
Last but not least,
So, my story is very funny. So my name is Salia, and this is gonna be called Sparrow Park, and it's a little bit different than most of your guys' theme park. We're gonna have hotel and also hot tub. It's likely, but then the hot tub, it's a way of relieve stress and giving people that go to the park a little exercise, I would say. And also we're gonna have only one entrance. This is the only entrance, and Captain Sparrow's gonna be the one that's waiting for the entrance. And then we're gonna also have hotel here, so families can go and then stay in their park in the area. And we're gonna also have activities such as like treasure hunt, and then pick a plate, and also on the other side of there, the river, not the river there. We're gonna have like a restaurant, inside a castle, and then we want to make this place have a healthy living style place. So we're not gonna have fresh fries or anything like that. It's gonna be like seafood and very fresh vegetable, or like fresh stuff. So it's gonna be very good. And then also we have roller coaster for the kids and adults who wanted to ride. And we also have ships for kids and their family to experience, how the pirates life, like I would say. And there's many. We also have like swimming pool, so families that go there, they can just hang out in the swimming pool while their kids play around on the other side. And this is the tunnel where the ships can go through. And then we also have Ferris wheel, kick and plays around. It's not that it's not gonna be a big park, but it's gonna be a very calm environment. I would say a park where families can go for relaxations and then enjoy having their family time together. As we know nowadays, a lot of parents work and then forget to spend time with their kids. So we want to make it like family-friendly place, so kids and their parents can go together and spend time. And also, this hotel is gonna be it's gonna be different than other hotel because we're gonna charge the guests when they enter. Before they come here, they come to the park. So once they are in the hotel, they can just order whatever they want, or like they can just use all of the resources that are in this park, and then so that way they don't have to use a lot of their money, and yeah, these are the menu. We have like menus such as sushi, shrimp salad, and seafood, and so on. And yeah, that's it.
All right, before we get too far, all right, I'm gonna take 1 second and have this side of the table stand behind them. I know. Hold, wear your maps, and everybody hold your maps out. Yeah, you guys sit and hold your maps in front of you, and they'll hold their maps over for you. From Kayla over, otherwise I won't get all of you. Yeah, stand behind you. Brendan, you're fine. And somebody stand behind Brendan. Sorry. Sulia, over. Or Kevin, I need you over next. Yeah. Straight face? You don't have to be straight faces. These are pirates. I still can't see you, Kevin. There you go. All right. Okay, one more. Kevin, hold yours up for me. There you go. All right, ready? Go, go. Oh, there you go. Okay. All right. Yay! Okay, so let's debrief.
It's like hard to judge these because they all sound like
They all sound really cool. Okay, so because it's so hard to judge and we have some time, let's one thing that often happens at these kinds of proposals is you have a question answer period. So you have a chance, the board has a chance to ask you questions just to clarify, I didn't quite catch this, or does it have that, or something like that, and that can help you also in your determination. Does anybody have any questions that came up, that's something they didn't remember from a presentation that might help them, or anything they want to ask one of their colleagues? You guys are going to be too nice to each other? This is still being nice. This is just, you just need more information. I have one. A couple of you did mention prices and how much it would cost. Like Ian and his had the price of the cruise, and Kevin, I think you said you had a swipe card.
Yeah.
Sulia has an all-inclusive type environment. Others of you though didn't quite mention it. You want to throw that in and how you're. If you thought about it, I mean, you might not have had a chance to mention it in your presentation and you have it in your written thing. If not, don't worry about it. Anybody want to throw theirs out? Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Mine, I was going to have base fee to enter. Probably be around $100 for base fee. And then everything on the park is all accessible except for things like food, alcohol, and then to get the gold to gamble, you pay for it, but you have a free range on everything else in the park.
Thinking 125, but all inclusive except for alcohol and tobacco.
Anybody else?
I was thinking $25 pass get to the island, and then you just have to pay for food and drinks after that. Everything else is good.
Most of you are kind of with that all-inclusive place, so you pay up front. Okay, cool. Most of you gave age ranges. Let's see who I don't remember. James, did you give an age range in there?
Mine was for like adults and kids.
Peter, did you?
Yeah, 21.
Anything else anybody can think of?
I thought everybody did a great job.
Yeah, I
It
did.
all sounded
You
like
guys did great.
Actually, I have a question. So I thought that pirates did wear eye patches, and they did it so that they could get adjusted if they were fighting the dark.
Yes, they didn't wear them just like as a, it wasn't, and every pirate obviously didn't have an eye patch. There are two reasons you would wear it. One is exactly that, where you have night vision and light vision. And the other is you have a hole in your eye. I mean, that was quite common for soldiers in general. Guys who fought would have missing eyes. The gun itself was notorious for shooting the wrong way. So
shoot your eye
literally
out.
shoot your eye out, yes. And there's all kinds of stuff. Horseback riding, you get a branch in your face and stuff like that. So that actual eye patch is not just pirates. That's actually a military thing. So you have that. Yeah, good question though. What about the peg legs? I didn't hear anybody talk about peg legs. That was interesting. No peg legs.
Mine were for sale. Gift shop.
Oh, okay. All right.
Blackbeard didn't have a peg leg.
The only prosthetic that any of you mentioned was Captain Hook. So. But were those real too? Or not?
Hook was real, right? Or like something similar to a hook.
A hook would be, and a peg leg would be too. Yeah, again, it's a military thing. You're on a ship comes through and a cannon blows. And, they don't, there's not really a way to reduce microscopic surgery or anything, so you just kind of.
There goes your leg.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't they like amputate it too if it like were to get infected? They were just like,
Yeah,
we're
they'd
just
have to
we're
cut
cutting
it
that thing
before.
off.
Yep. Give you some of that rum, and because there's no anesthetic, not antiseptic, anesthesia.
And then use it as antiseptic.
Right. Yes. Yes.
They wouldn't have to chop this thing off. It was not
Yeah,
even
that was always a big fear too. I mean, because you either walk around with a busted up leg, but then that gets gangrenous, and then you really want to chop that thing off, because that'll kill you. So. Yeah. Okay. Well, do your adding up of stuff, and I just put in the numbers there, and pass those. Make sure. No, you don't have to add it up. Just, but if you don't have a number, just make sure you put something in there.
Is it everything have to be ranked one?
Huh?
Nothing can, like, 2B one number, or do they have to be ranked?
This ranking is separate from these numbers. These were just to help you kind of remember where you
But we
had
don't need to
things.
have to, yeah, so like 2 things can be.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
yeah, you can have more than one 5.
So it'll be 1 to 14 because I'm missing. I include myself.
Yes, you can include yourself.
Although if you include yourself, you have to like make your own thing because it's not enough for yourself.
I won't be conceding.
Well, I had everybody in here.
Oh, all right. Maybe I just wait.
Yeah, are we missing somebody?
Oh.
We're missing somebody, but I didn't. I have enough for everybody.
He was walking the
Oh.
There's enough spaces if everybody, I have everybody in.
Except for.
Mine right now
But I
is so
didn't-
much more.
Yeah.
For the papers, are we supposed to like hand it to you or like?
No,
It goes on campus.
I'm not ranking. Wait, so if you don't rank yours, is it 14?
Yeah.
Okay.
So did you have to be in North and just change from 15 to 14? Are you you boy? Wait, 13?
13. It's 13, 1 through 13 with 1 being best. Well, 14 if you add yourself.
I don't know myself. I'm just gonna get myself.
I don't know why you want. Yeah, it's all over.
You're done. Bring it up to me with your map. Make sure your name is on your map.
I don't have a rubber band. Do you have any rubber bands?
I actually
For you, sir.
Oh, wow. And do you want my paper copy, or should I just email it to you?
I'll take a paper copy, but make sure you email it.
Right.
Or not email, canvas it.
Oh, wait, it'll still take it, even though it's...
It should take.
Okay.
It'll say late, but I know it's not late.
Okay.
Okay, I got confused.
I don't want to watch Pirates of the Caribbean again.
Let's watch the Goonies though.
The Goonies, I know. I was so glad you brought that up in there.
Do the truffle shuffle.
Shelf it. That'd be good.
Is yours JP?
The boss of?
Wait.
Okay, 13.
Oh, we were handing in the
I had a game plan, but I wanted to segue into that.
You're fine.
I went out the door.
He's struggling.
Yeah. One things. Thank you. That's your good. Okay.
Are we turning them now?
Yeah, just put it on top of the. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, you should be able to still turn it in, Peter.
Okay.
And Celia, if you got it. Did you see it? Okay, good.
Is he starting tonight? Who's starting for the Yankees, you know?
All right. You're fine.
Dude, Price is like
Okay.
the only pitcher, only like
Thank you guys.
pitcher to
That
not have a
was,
win.
did you guys have fun? Because I think it's
Like
fun.
nine
And this is like one of my
years.
favorite things to like grade too, because it's not really, you know, strenuous on either of us. So it's fun. It's fun. Okay. The other thing before we go, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page with the midterm. It's if you go into assignments, it's under that. It's under quizzes too, but the best way to get to it is through modules or through assignment. And then it's here. and it's not due on we don't have class on Thursday. I'm going to be up in Montreal at a conference, so it's a little difficult for me to be in.
Wait, Wednesday? You mean Wednesday?
On Wednesday, right. I leave on Wednesday for Montreal. I have a paper I'm giving
So we don't have class
Thursday
on
morning,
Wednesday?
so no class Wednesday afternoon because I need to get on the road. That's another reason why this is not due. I mean, I could make it due, but
You don't have to.
That's okay.
I think, I'm not gonna get to it, so there's no reason for you guys to like stress and that kind of thing. So, it's due on Friday, by 6 o'clock so that you have the weekend and your break not to be stressing over it. You'll be done. The first section, I want to go over a little bit just to help you guys with it, and then also section 2. So the first section is really short, brief, pop kind of questions, and the second is a bigger, longer, more involved type of question. So let's look at those first two and what it entails. So you choose 2 of them, and I have quite a few here for you to choose from. And the answer can't be more than 250 words, which it either sounds like a whole lot or not enough. People are like on either side of that. It's like, oh my God, 250 words, or is that it? So it's actually one of those "is that it" kind of things, because you're answering really involved things really quickly, right? I mean, you don't have to. You have a long time to answer it, but I mean, in a short amount of space. So the way that you do that is you get to the point really fast. There's no flowery introduction. There's no flowery conclusion. It's the meat of it. You get in there and you say, this is what I think and this is why. Right?
A middle school answer.
Not a middle school answer.
Well, you know, like how they teach you how to do a short.
You mean the five thing? Yeah. Mrs. Nichols was my 7th grade grade. Yes, the Mrs. Nichols kind of essay. But this is more involved than a Mrs. Nichols essay.
It's more intelligent Mrs. Nichols essay.
I don't know. You met Mrs. Nichols. they were pretty, and you had to be pretty intelligent for her class. But this is more involved than that. You need to get more into that small amount of space. That means you have to pick your words well and what you're saying.
Are we allowed to use notes and stuff?
Yes, you may use notes, and with this, the notes that you can use our class lectures, discussions. I didn't write readings there, but readings. Oh, I did. Readings, movies. Anything we've done and used in class, you can use in these answers. I would expect that if you have 5 sentences.
Is that thing going to be on there? All the recordings?
Yes.
Online?
Yes. Everything, all the online stuff you can use all the integrity. Yes. That counts as lectures. So I would expect if you have 5 sentences, this is about 5 to 8 sentences, I would expect 4 of those 5 sentences to have footnotes on them. Because that's how much information you're throwing into those sentences, right? So there should be, these should be heavily notated, right? Got it? And that's how I'm thinking of these answers, right?
Like number 1 looks kind of like opinion based. Do we have to?
Yes, they can't, and all of these throw some kind of an opinion in it, which is what makes it a little bit easier to answer these questions, because you can argue a point, right? And so what you're doing is arguing that point really succinctly. So why is the Caribbean important to study? This is why. You're not going to be able to talk about 5 or 6 different reasons. Pick one and say that is why, right? So we're doing this here. It gives you the things that you need to answer, right? And you just expand a little bit on that. How did effective occupation shape the world of the Caribbean? Well, you could write a dissertation on that, right? You could write 500 pages on that, but no, you get 250 words. So you need to pick one thing that you think is key importance on that one. Same with how did immigrants and settlers and slaves. You guys did a whole conversation, a whole discussion board on this answer. Remember? Yeah, you can use those. But again, when you use it, you have to say and be very specific about what it is. You can't meander through it.
Let's say if I were to use number 5, can I use my paper that I wrote for the project on it?
Yes.
Perfect.
You have to cite your own paper.
I will.
Yeah. But yes, you may. You may do that.
How many sources would you want for one of those? Like 3, 2
For a 250 word paper, 2 to 3. I wouldn't think much more than that, because then it's just that's a lot of information that you're trying to get into there. More than one though, because you're trying to argue a point, and so using multiple sources will be helpful. And by sources, I mean more than one lecture, or a lecture in a discussion, or a lecture in a reading, right? So you can, it's not that difficult, but you need to be able to be comparative in your answer, right? Not just your source shouldn't be just from one source. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So any more questions on this one? Yes, Liz.
So I'm supposed to answer all those 5 questions?
No, you're picking 2.
I'll pick
It's
2.
20 points each, and so just 2 of them.
Okay.
But I give you choices because, some things you know, and some things that just be a lot of effort, right? Okay. So then the next one is only one answer, one choice that you have. This is longer though. This is between 700, no fewer than 750 words, no more than 1,000. With both of these, your notes don't count. The footnote endnotes doesn't count in that word count, and you can do that when you go up into Word. You can exclude your footnotes for that count. But no fewer than 750 and no more than 1,000. So that's between 3 and 4 pages on that, and it's an essay, right? So you've got 2 choices. One is your creative choice, one is your analytical choice. I've got both kinds of brains in here, so I'm letting you work with whichever brain you got. So the first one is the more left side kind of brain, the creative brain. Imagine you're a press agent for the Caribbean Development Board, so like developing tourism, residency, all those, think of how you would develop the Caribbean. Sometime during the years 1491 and 1700, the board is looking for someone to head their campaign to increase the population in the Caribbean. Write a letter to your supervisor, so you're a part of this board, so somebody's overlooking you, explaining why you want to head this campaign. Be sure you give the time frame. You don't want to go do that whole time frame. That's a lot of stuff. If you focus on an era, then there's different things that you different people you recruit, different things you develop, different things that are going on in the Caribbean, different things you need to look out for, all of those things. So pick your time period well. Why did you choose those dates? What regions do you emphasize? If you're in 1491 to 1500, you can't be in the Lesser Antilles, right? So think about where you are, at what time it is, and then that kind of tells you where you are also. So what regions, what do you find fascinating? You're developing this place. Why is this exciting? Why should you be the person to bring people there? What strikes you as strange? What things are going to be difficult about bringing people there because it's not like what they know, or it's you're bringing slaves over. So yeah, I mean that's a different type of recruiting, right? So what strikes you as strange? That would be a different way of recruiting. Describe the people you'll recruit and why. Describe the social order in that destination. So where do the people you're bringing in, how do they fit in that social order, right? Cultural attitudes and events that you'll have to deal with. If you pick a certain time period and there's some big event that happens, like a hurricane or a war in, like if you choose 1560 to 1600, the Spanish Armada happens in the middle of that, right? So you're blessed with the foresight of knowing these things, even if, technically if you were writing it, you wouldn't know that from 1560 to these things would happen between 1560 and 1600. Got it? Okay. Any questions about that answer? Okay, the right brain side, describe both the positive and negative effects of the Spanish cultural conquest on the cultures of the people of the Caribbean, peoples in the Spanish Caribbean. How did the arrival of new European powers influence the cultural relationships? Okay, so this one sets you in a time period earlier than this, right? Because you have to address pre-Columbian peoples, so you're automatically starting at least at this date, right? And you can go forward a lot, but I wouldn't go more than a century ahead. But you're going to need to go about that far because you need to add these people in, right? So people other groups once Columbus gets there, other groups are coming already, but you want to decide how far into the future you want to go, right? Yeah.
Can you skip around? Do you have to do it like chronologically, or can you like skip, like, I'm just gonna throw out a random date, like, can you like skip 1565 and just go straight to like?
Yeah, if you're doing it in a way that you're talking about the effects, so instead of, you're doing it thematically instead of chronologically, yes, that would work.
Like if you just go like Spanish.
Yes.
And then other people's.
Yes, you can do that. You can do it that way, and you can skip times. Yeah. Mhm. Good question. Any others? No? Okay. This is Spanish, Dutch, French, and English for good luck. And I look forward to reading those when I get back from Montreal.
For our midterm on Thursday, is that
No,
at